Defensive military strategies. If you're curious about how armies protect themselves and their territory, you're in the right place. Let's explore some effective defensive military strategies that have been used throughout history. One of the most sophisticated defensive strategies is the defense in depth. This tactic involves layering defensive positions to prevent the enemy from quickly penetrating the defense. For example, during World War I, the Germans developed a fortified belt several miles deep, known as the Hindenburg Line. This defense system included well-positioned, well-camouflaged strongpoints that could mount an all-around defense and act as observation posts for their own artillery. The main strength of this system was not the continuous trenches, but these strongpoints that could channel and delay the enemy's progress. Another strategy is the area defense, which focuses on denying enemy forces access to specific terrain for a certain period. In this approach, the defending force positions itself in mutually supporting positions and controls the terrain between them. The leader uses reserve forces to reinforce fires, add depth, block penetrations, restore positions, and counterattack to destroy enemy forces. This method allows the defender to conserve combat power and resource the counterattack more effectively. The creeping barrage is another tactic that has been used to great effect. This involves slow-moving artillery fire that creates a defensive curtain behind which infantry can advance safely. During World War I, both sides used this tactic to bypass the challenges of trench warfare. For instance, the Australians at the Battle of Chuines in 1918 used a sophisticated creeping barrage that included a mix of high-explosive, shrapnel, and smoke shells to protect their advancing troops. In the context of mobile defense, the strategy involves allowing the enemy to advance to a point where they are exposed to a decisive counterattack. This tactic requires an area of operation with considerable depth where the defender can shape the battlefield to the enemy's disadvantage. For example, during the Battle of Alam Halfa in 1942, the British Army employed a checkerboard system of artillery and infantry strongpoints supported by mechanized cavalry and heavy armor to stop Rommel's Afrika Korps. The Finnish Army during the Russo-Finnish Winter War 1939–1940 is another notable example. Despite being poorly equipped, the Finns used guerrilla-style light infantry tactics and extensive minefields to thwart a large-scale mechanized Soviet thrust. They relied on natural barriers like lakes and swamps, and laid trench lines behind these barriers, which significantly minimized damage and terrain losses. In addition, the concept of alternate positions is crucial in defensive maneuvers. This involves two or more units occupying delaying positions in depth. As the first unit engages the enemy, the second unit occupies the next position in depth and prepares to assume responsibility for the operation. This technique allows the first force to disengage and move to the next position, ensuring continuous resistance against the enemy. These strategies highlight the complexity and variety of defensive military tactics, each tailored to the specific terrain, resources, and enemy they face. By understanding these methods, we can appreciate the strategic thinking and planning that go into protecting territory and troops.